What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to some Tropico 6. Today we are going to look at the raid screen. Yes, we're going to look at the raid screen and what it entails, what you require, and how to use it properly, and in which situations. So, where do we start? We start with the Pirate Cove, because that is the first building you can build, namely already right at the start. The Pirate Cove. It employs 4 workers, it has an efficiency upgrade that you can do, and it has 2 work modes. Now, we can't do that while we're on a mission, but we can look at the work modes anyway. We start with the work modes for each building before we go into the rest of the building. Now, under Black Sails is the regular work mode for the Pirate Cove. This is the one I would pick. I would always pick this one. Why? The next one is on a dead man's chest. The duration of missions is decreased by 50%, but raiders have a chance of 20% to die on the mission. Now, I don't want to lose people, that's why I pick this. You really are not under that much time pressure to finish these missions. They don't take that long anyway. So it really doesn't matter that much. I like to keep this one. If you really feel like you need to get some of those missions done really quickly and you have too many people anyway or something, then by all means go for Hold on a Dead Man's Chest. I prefer to keep my people alive, honestly. But again, that's up to you. So, the rest of what we have is on the raid screen, which is here. You can either get through it on the building or through this. And then to the Pirate Cove. Now, what can pirates do? Pirates can loot resources. It says which ones it is. They can rescue people, they can hunt treasure, and they can heist wonders. Let's start with loot of resources. Would I do it? Do I recommend it? When do I recommend it? No, I don't do it. I don't necessarily recommend it, and I would rarely do it. There are a few situations. Namely, you can't get an export trade route done for, I don't know, fish or nickel or something. And you want to quickly grab a couple of those resources. Sure, go for it. You want to jumpstart your economy by selling a few of the resources. Sure, but it's just not very efficient or effective. There really isn't very many reasons to do this. You can do it with uranium maybe if you don't have any, but you usually do, so... Really, honestly, I wouldn't loot the resources. I just wouldn't. What I use the Pirate Cove for is you build it early on when you need people and you rescue people. Now, relatively early in the game you usually don't have a high school, but maybe you already built a clinic or something and you need educated people that you don't have because either your high school has just been built or you just have more jobs for educated people than you need. You have more jobs for educated people than you have. So you rescue educated people, or you have a lot of job openings because you expanded quickly. You rescue many people. This is really the best way to quickly expand and quickly grow your population early on, is rescuing people. Obviously rescue whoever is necessary in that specific situation. And honestly, before I loot resources, I treasure hunt. I prefer that. Or I steal a wonder. I would do all these things before I loot resources. That's my opinion. treasure hunt is alright if you have people and you got wonders already. You can get a little bit of cash, which is nice. You can get raid points, so you can raid again. It's alright. An available regime tool is okay. It saves you a little bit of time. Available blueprint saves you a little bit of money. So this is what the Pirate Cove is for. Now, second on the raid screen is the Commando Garrison. Now this is a wholly more interesting building. The Commando Garrison has no upgrades, but it has 2 work modes again. The first, focus on mission training, a regular one, and the second, provide tactical insight. Decreases the efficiency of the building by 10%, increases the hit points of all military squads by 20% on base efficiency. Now this is okay. I don't use it, but it's okay. This is kind of the opposite of the other work mode, of this one, where you get practically more efficient or faster and people can die. And here they don't die as easily, and instead, you know, you lose some of the efficiency. It's give or take. I usually stay on this, but you should look into it. If you lose a lot of people on missions, by all means, go for it. The more important part about this, however, is this. The Commando Garrison has different options. Everyone has, by the way. And this has a little bit more interesting options. Now once again we have Treasure Hunt, which we already know, and we have Heist Wonders, which we also know. It's different wonders now, but same principle. Here, however, we have Sabotage a Superpower. What is this useful for? Now let's say you play early on, you don't have a lot of military yet, you have a Commando Garrison, yeah, it's fine, but you really don't have much to defend yourself with. And you have a great standing with, I don't know, the Axis, and the allies, they kinda don't like you, and you feel like, if they attacked me now, or if they issued something against me, that would be not ideal. So you sabotage the allies. Or in this case, since we are in modern times, you know, the Middle East, they don't like me, you don't want suicide bombers coming and ruining your day, so you know, you sabotage the Middle East and everything could be better. Obviously that was a little bit of an insensitive joke, but you know what I mean. And if you have a bad standing with a superpower, then go for it, sabotage them if you feel like you cannot defend. But then please, this only works for a while, and then they could attack you anyway, so build up the military if you feel like you can't right now. Or improve relations, that also works. The other part, which I rarely use this by the way, what I also rarely use is the Guerrilla Patrol. Commandos assault the resistance. Now if you do have a lot of resistance, this actually makes sense because it reduces the number of guerrillas by 5, or by up to 5. So this makes sense to do if you have resistance problems. But I usually like to spend time of the Commando Garrison better and just build a little bit of military up, and then they usually quell the resistance as well. It's just... You can use that, but there are better ways to solve resistance. For example, making people happy. Earlier in the game, or also later if you have happiness issues, intimidate neighbors is useful. Decrease Caribbean happiness by 5%. Now the Caribbean happiness can be found here. Here's our happiness, here's the Caribbean happiness. If this is higher than this, when our people will move away from our island to other Caribbean islands. So if you have happiness issues or the Caribbean happiness gets too high, using this to intimidate the neighbors and making them less happy pretty much saves your people from running away. So this, in my opinion, is the most useful in case of being unhappy and having people run off. This is most useful if you have trouble with resistance, and this is most useful if you want to delay an attack by a superpower that you have a bad standing with. If your people are happy, you have no resistance, and the superpowers like you, heist some wonders, do some treasure hunt, whatever it is. Again, these are obvious, and I hope you now understand what these are good for. Then we go another era forward and have a Spy Academy. Let's look at the Spy Academy right here. This is, by the way, the Military Academy, and this is Pirate Cove. The Spy Academy. Once again, no upgrades, and once again multiple work modes, this time 3 of them. Now we have a Tropican style agency, which is the regular one, the Western style agency, which increases the wage by 40% and the efficiency is increased, which not by 40%, by $40. And the Eastern style agency, the building requires high school education, efficiency is increased by 20%, and raiders have a 20% chance to die on the mission. I don't do this. Just don't. If you don't have college people, you don't need this yet. Don't do this. You have less efficiency and the raiders die. That's not a good deal. Western style agency I usually don't pick neither because it's quite expensive and the 10% efficiency increase is just not worth it. If you have boatloads of cash, go for it, sure. But outside of that, I don't do that. Really not worth it in my opinion. You're usually not lacking for efficiency on this building. Sorry for scrolling away. I usually keep it in Tropican style agency. There's a theme developing, I really don't like the work modes on these. But that's not the important part, the important part is the raid screen. Now what do we have? Once again, Heist Wonders and Treasure Hunt, which we already know. But we also have one of my 2 favorites, Observation. Reveals the hidden role of up to 10 of your citizens and reduces the chances of citizens turning rebel or criminal by 20% for 36 months upon completion. This is my favorite, because you uncover hidden roles, which is nice, and you reduce the chance of citizens turning rebel or criminal, which is even better. I mean, if you uncover a criminal, that's great, but if you prevent someone from turning into a criminal, that's even better. So observation, if you have these guys idling around, do this, it always helps. Always. There's not one situation where I can think of where this doesn't help. Unless you have no criminals and no rebels and 100% support, which rarely happens. This is useful. Now this I have done it like twice and it's... I don't know why you would do that. Send spies to infiltrate the rebellion. The spies will spark an uprising on completion. I don't know. Maybe so that you can quell the rebellion? I wouldn't pick it, honestly. I really wouldn't. Then, espionage blueprints. Send spies to steal random building blueprints from other nations. It's okay, it saves you a little bit of cash, it's useful. You can do it. If you feel like, hey, I want some blueprints, I want to save some cash, and I don't want to buy the blueprints, go for that. It's useful, it doesn't hurt, it's straightforward, really. There's no specific situation where you should do that, it's just, hey, I want some blueprints, I pick it. And we have espionage regime tool. Send spies to steal a random regime tool, like an edict, building work modes, or a constitution topic from other nations. Now, I don't pick that. Why? Well, because of this. Espionage knowledge. Send spies to steal knowledge points from other nations. The knowledge points directly count towards getting whatever I want in the research tab, rather than something random from another regime that I might not even want. So, between these two, I always pick knowledge. To sum up, what I do is either observation, if I don't have anything that I research that I truly want, blueprints, which is nice to save some money, or stealing knowledge if I want to get along quicker with my research. These are the three that I would pick. I do not pick this, and I do not recommend this, because this is just, in my opinion, better. If all of this is not for you, then obviously go for these. The wonders will get an extra video, because that would be too long for one video. We just go into the different special things that each building can do. And the last building, the Cyber Operations Center, is, in my opinion, not too necessary. It's good, but it's not the first thing I would build once I can. It does have an upgrade. It adds 2 additional job positions, and the building requires more electrical power. This is alright to... we can showcase really quick what it does. Now we have 2 more jobs. Come on. Let's fill them up real quick. Having 2 more people, it gives you more jobs. More people have a job. You can do it, you cannot do it. Doesn't really make too big of a difference, in my opinion. It works perfectly fine with 4 people on the job. This might sound weird, but it does. It works perfectly fine. The work modes, however, are a different topic. Get into the flow is the regular work mode. Glued to the screen is the other work mode. And I'm sorry. Glued to the screen, increase the efficiency by 25%, which is right. And it's alright. Workers lose 20 health happiness after each work shift. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And 50 after taking part in a raid or heist. This is even worse. Don't pick it. The efficiency increase is not worth it. Stay here. And once again, we are kind of getting into this theme of stay with the standard work mode for these buildings. I don't know what we were thinking with these other ones. Now with people here, as you can see, not a whole lot changed. I think you get a few more raid points. But yeah, you get some job openings, but really not much else. More important part is here. And honestly, to me the most useful part of this, apart from stealing wonders, which is nice, is the fantasy reviews. Now, sometimes you can focus a little bit too little on tourism. Now, tourism works like this. You have people come visit your island, and if they like it, they leave a good review, and if they don't like it, they leave a bad review. And if people leave bad reviews, then less people come and visit your island, and you get less money from it. I think that much is obvious, right? Right. So you continue, play and play and play, and you get less and less tourists, and you get less and less money from them, and that's bad. What you can do is fantasy reviews. What does that do? As you can see, spawn multiple perfect ratings for every tourist type. That's great. That's brilliant. because it increases your rating again, more tourists are coming in, and you get more money again. Now, in the long term, you should also improve the tourist facilities that you have. Maybe put some wonders down, which tourists like, so that the tourists themselves leave good reviews, but this can really jumpstart your tourism again once it goes down. So this is very useful in that situation. And with market manipulation, create 10 import trade routes with 40% price deviation for the next 2 trade offers, and the same for export. Create 10 export trade routes with minus 40% price deviation for the next 2 trade offers. I usually don't use them. You can, but usually having trade routes is good enough, and I really wouldn't use that. It's not bad, but I prefer stealing wonders, making my reviews a little better, and just using these for treasure hunt really. I can use treasure hunt in the later game, they can use treasure hunt, and these two have things that I can use over and over again. But really the Cyber Operations Center is nothing that makes me very enthusiastic. Apart from the fantasy reviews, they are very good. And stealing the White House, which is always fun. So these are the 4
bank on saving the
These are the 4 buildings in the raid screen. What you can do with them and when to use which raids. So I hope you enjoyed it. As you can also see, these buildings are unique. You can only build one of them. So it's not like you can just send out endless raid squads. Nope. Only one of them. So the raid points you generate with these are the raid points you have. Now one last word on the raid points. The pirates or people working in here may generate raid points, and everything you do here costs raid points. For example, heist Hagia Sophia, which is here, costs 5,000 raid points. We have 27,000. So every time you do one of these things, it costs raid points. I think I forgot to mention that. Now you know. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you now know what to do with the raid button. And yeah, until next time, farewell.